The stars around the Xyrith were cold and silent. The cargo ship floated in deep space, far from any known planet or space station. Inside the ship, the alien crew moved slowly, their faces showing tiredness and worry. The ship's systems had stopped working right after an accident. They were trapped with no way to fix the damage. Kyle, the ship's captain, stood on the bridge. His eyes scanned the empty black outside. The silence was heavy. The alarms had stopped long ago, but inside, the fear grew. Kyle knew the chances of being saved were small. Most ships ignored distress calls in this remote area. There was no one to help. Kyle turned to his crew. "We must keep calm," he said quietly. "Our only hope is the distress signal. Someone will hear us." The crew nodded, but their faces were pale. The oxygen tanks were running low. The food was almost finished. The cold air made the ship feel like a tomb. In the engine room, a small team worked hard to fix what they could. Machines that once hummed with life were silent. Sparks flew from broken wires. The engineers wiped sweat from their faces, knowing their efforts might be wasted. Outside the ship, deep space was empty. No planets, no stars close enough to give light or warmth. Only darkness surrounded the Xyrith. Time passed slowly, and the hope that someone would come grew weaker. Kale looked at the screen again. The distress signal was still broadcasting. A simple message in many languages, hoping anyone would respond. But no reply came. "Captain," a voice said behind him. It was Lyra, the ship's communications officer. "The signal is stable, but no one answers." Kyle sighed. "We wait. We cannot give up." Every day the crew tried to keep busy. Some checked the ship's systems, hoping to fix something. Others cleaned or tried to prepare food carefully to make it last longer. Children, too young to understand everything, played quietly in the small recreation room. Kale often walked among them. He saw fear in their eyes, but also a small spark of hope. He knew that hope was all they had left. One night the ship shook. A small meteor had hit the outer hull. The crew rushed to check for damage. Luckily, the impact was minor, but it reminded them of how fragile they were. Kale stood on the bridge again, watching the stars. He thought about Earth, the distant world he had only heard of in stories. Some said humans were strange, strong, and brave, but he had never met one. "We need a miracle," Kale whispered to himself. Days turned into weeks. The ship's food supplies ran low. The air grew thinner. Some crew members became weak, but no one gave up. They shared stories and memories to keep their spirits alive. Kyle kept sending the distress call, hoping the universe would answer. One morning, the silence broke. The sensors on the bridge picked up a small signal. It was faint but different from the usual cosmic noise. Kyle's heart raced. "Captain," Lyra shouted. "There's a ship nearby. It's human." The crew gathered quickly. Outside the viewport, a large warship appeared, massive and strong. Its lights cut through the darkness of space like a beacon. Kale felt something he had not felt for a long time. Hope. The human warship slowly moved closer. Its size and power were clear. It was not just any ship, it was a warship built for battle and rescue. "Prepare for contact," Kale ordered. The crew worked fast, repairing what they could to prepare for docking. The humans communicated through the universal translator. "This is the USS Resolute. We received your distress call. Help is on the way." The message was clear and simple. Help had arrived. As the ships locked together, Kyle looked at the humans through the glass. They were different in many ways, but their faces showed kindness and determination. The humans began their rescue quickly. They checked the Xyrith systems and began repairs. They brought fresh air tanks and medical supplies. The alien crew watched, amazed by the humans' strength and teamwork. Kyle felt grateful. In this vast, empty space, humans had answered their call when no one else had. The Xyrith was no longer alone. The USS Resolute hovered close to the damaged Xyrith. Its huge metal body shone dimly in the distant stars. The human ship was strong and fast, built to fight and survive the harshest parts of space. But now, its mission was simple: help the stranded aliens. Captain Jenna Marlowe stood tall on the Resolute's bridge. Her sharp eyes scanned the Xyrath through the large window. The alien ship looked weak and broken, but inside, life still clung on. "Status report," Jenna ordered. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Harris, turned from his console. "Communications are open, Captain. The aliens are responding. They are weak but stable. Medical teams are ready to board." Jenna nodded. "Prepare a rescue team. We move carefully. This area is unknown and may be dangerous." The crew of the Resolute worked fast. They knew time was short for the Xyrath's crew. Oxygen levels were low and the alien ship could fail at any moment. Meanwhile, on the Xyrath, Kale and his crew watched the humans with a mix of hope and curiosity. Humans were strange and powerful beings. The stories they heard did not do justice to the real thing. Humans moved quickly and confidently, as if they owned the stars. The communication channels buzzed with activity. Humans spoke in clear, firm voices. The universal translator helped both sides understand each other, but many gestures and expressions said more than words. "We will get you out of here," one human officer said. "Hold tight." Medical teams from the Resolute boarded the Xyrath, carefully. The corridors were dark and cold, but the humans did not hesitate. They checked every room, giving oxygen masks and medicine. Some aliens were too weak to stand, but the humans carried them gently. Kyle watched the humans closely. They worked as a team, helping each other and the aliens. Their faces showed concern, but no fear. It was a strange feeling for Kale to see, such determination. One young human medic, a woman named Sarah, approached Kale. "Captain, we will do everything to save your crew. You are safe now." Kale nodded, feeling grateful. "Thank you. We thought no one would come." Sarah smiled softly. "In space, you never know who might answer the call." Back on the Resolute, Captain Marlowe received strange signals on the ship's scanners. Small energy pulses, irregular and weak. The signals were not coming from the Xyrath. They were nearby, hidden in the shadows of space. "Captain, we have something," Lieutenant Harris reported. "Unknown signals, possibly a ship or a station. It's moving slowly but intentionally." Jenna's face tightened. "Unknown in deep space is never good. Prepare weapons teams and alert the crew." The Resolute was not just a rescue ship, it was a warship, ready for danger. The humans had learned hard lessons in space. They never ignored threats, especially when others depended on them. Jenna ordered a small scout team to investigate. The team moved out in a fast shuttle, scanning the area for signs of life or danger. The shuttle's sensors found a hidden ship, damaged and drifting silently. It was old and covered with scars of past battles. The signal came from it, weak calls for help or warning. "Captain," the shuttle pilot reported, "the ship's life support is failing. No response to hails. It looks abandoned, but could still be dangerous." Jenna thought hard. "We can't ignore it. If it's hostile, it may come after us. If it needs help, it may have survivors." The Resolute changed course slowly toward the unknown ship. The humans prepared for the worst but hoped for the best. On the Xyrath, Kale's crew rested as best they could. The humans' help was making a difference. Some systems were back online, and fresh supplies arrived. Still, the feeling of danger was not gone. Kale stood with Lyra near the ship's viewport. They watched the Resolute move toward the hidden ship. "What do you think is there?" Lyra asked quietly. Kale shook his head. "We do not know, but humans will protect us. That much is clear." Suddenly, the Resolute's alarm sounded. Red lights flashed across the bridge. Jenna and her crew sprang into action. "Hostile ship. Detected!" Harris shouted. "Unknown vessel is powering weapons." Jenna's heart pounded. "All hands prepare for combat. Shields up, weapons ready." The Resolute faced its first real test in this mission. The unknown ship, damaged but dangerous, moved to attack. It fired a warning shot near the Resolute. The human warship responded quickly. Energy shields flared, blocking the blast. The crew worked as one, firing back with precision. Kale watched, in shock. The humans fought not just to save aliens but to survive themselves. The Resolute was strong and fast, showing skill and courage. The battle was short but intense. The unknown ship, weakened and outmatched, fled into the dark. The humans did not chase. It was not worth the risk. After the fight, Jenna contacted Kale. "The area is clear for now. We will protect you, but we must stay alert." Kale replied, "Thank you, Captain. Your courage saves us all." The humans began repairing the Xyrith more confidently. The medical teams worked harder, knowing danger was near but hope was stronger. Captain Marlowe stood on the bridge watching the stars. She knew this mission was more than rescue. It was the beginning of something new. In deep space, humans had answered a call no one else dared to hear. They were not just warriors. They were guardians. The Xyrith was still weak, but with humans nearby, its crew felt stronger. The long night in space was not over, but now it had light. The USS Resolute rested beside the damaged Xyrith, its powerful engines humming softly in the dark silence of deep space. Inside the warship, Captain Jenna Marlowe stood on the bridge, her sharp eyes never leaving the main viewport. She was a leader built for difficult times, strong, steady, and calm. She knew this rescue was just the start. There would be more challenges ahead. The alien ship was still fragile. Its damaged systems slowly came back to life, thanks to the Resolute's engineers and medical teams working side by side with the Xyrith's crew. The air inside the alien ship was cleaner now, food supplies had been replenished, and the weak crew members were growing stronger. "Captain," Lieutenant Harris said, "the engines on the Xyrith are responding to our repairs. They won't be fully operational soon, but the ship can move again." Jenna nodded with satisfaction. "Good. That means we have more time. But we need to stay alert. The enemy could still be nearby." On the Xyrith, Kale walked through the corridors with Sarah, the young human medic who had quickly earned the trust of the alien crew. Her kindness and determination made a deep impression. "Humans work differently than we expected," Kale said quietly. "You do not give up easily, even when things seem hopeless." Sarah smiled softly. "That's how we survive out here. We fight, we fix, and we protect, no matter what." Kale looked out of the small window at the stars. "Your people are strong. We are lucky you answered our call." Sarah shook her head. "No one should be left alone in space." Back on the Resolute, the human crew prepared for the next steps. Captain Marlowe called a meeting with her officers. "We have done well so far," she said. "But this mission is more than just rescue. We need to learn why the Xyrith was abandoned here and what threats remain." The officers nodded. They knew space was full of dangers, pirates, rival factions, and unknown creatures. The Xyrith story was not over yet. In the days that followed, the Resolute and the Xyrith worked together closely. The humans shared technology and knowledge, helping the aliens fix their ship faster. The aliens, in return, showed the humans how to navigate this part of space, sharing maps and warnings about dangerous asteroid fields and radiation zones. Kale and Captain Marlowe grew to respect each other. Both were leaders, but their styles were different. Kyle was cautious and thoughtful, while Jenna was bold and quick to act. Yet they found common ground in their desire to protect their crews. One evening, as the stars glittered outside the Resolute, Jenna stood on the bridge watching the repaired Xyrith moving slowly under its own power. She felt a deep pride in her crew and hope for the future. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up a faint distress signal, this time not from the Xyrith, but from a nearby asteroid belt. The signal was weak and old, but human in origin. "Captain," Lieutenant Harris reported, "there's a small ship trapped in that asteroid field. It's been sending distress calls for weeks." Jenna's eyes sharpened. "We can't ignore this. Prepare a rescue shuttle." The humans moved fast. The shuttle launched toward the asteroid belt, dodging rocks and debris with skilled pilots guiding the way. The shuttle found a small vessel, wrecked but still holding together. Inside were survivors, humans who had been stranded, weak but alive. The rescue was difficult, but the humans brought the survivors aboard the Resolute. The medical teams worked quickly, giving oxygen and care. Kyle watched the scene from the Zyrith. The humans' determination amazed him. They did not stop until everyone was safe, no matter the risk or cost. After the rescue, Captain Marlowe spoke with Kale. "This is why we do what we do. No one gets left behind." Kale nodded. "You are different from other species. You fight for life even in the darkest places." Jenna smiled. "That's humanity. We stand strong, not just for ourselves but for anyone who needs help." The next days were busy. Repairs on the Zyrith continued, and plans formed to travel back to a safe human station for full restoration. But the threat of the unknown hostile ship lingered in everyone's minds. Jenna ordered extra patrols around the ships. The humans prepared for possible attacks but kept their focus on the rescue and healing. One night, while walking through the Resolute's corridors, Jenna met Sarah. The young medic was tired but smiling. "How are your patients?" Jenna asked. "Improving every day," Sarah said. "They trust us now. It's a good feeling." Jenna nodded. "You're doing great work." Sarah looked out a window, her eyes thoughtful. "I wonder what else is out there. So much we don't know." Jenna placed a hand on Sarah's shoulder. "That's why we keep moving forward, to find answers and protect those who can't protect themselves." As the two ships prepared for the next phase of their journey, the bond between humans and aliens grew stronger. The Zyrith was no longer just a broken ship in deep space. It was a symbol of hope, a sign that no matter the darkness, humanity would shine bright. The USS Resolute and the Zyrith drifted side by side in the endless blackness of deep space. Repairs were going well on the alien ship, but the tension on the human warship remained high. Captain Jenna Marlowe stood on the bridge, eyes sharp and alert. Her instincts told her danger was still near. The hostile ship they had fought before had vanished, but it might return. Space was unpredictable, and shadows hid many threats. "Captain," Lieutenant Harris spoke from his station. "Our sensors have detected something unusual. A ship is approaching fast. It's not on any known registry." Jenna's jaw tightened. "Bring it up on the main screen." A blurry image appeared, a dark, sleek vessel moving quickly toward them. Its shape was unfamiliar and menacing. "Unknown. Ship closing fast," Harris reported. "It is heavily armed." The crew moved quickly, preparing weapons and raising shields. Captain Marlowe's voice was calm but firm. "All hands, battle stations. Protect the Zyrith at all costs." On the Zyrith, Kale and his crew felt the rising tension. They were still weak from their ordeal and not ready for another fight. But the humans beside them showed no fear. The USS Resolute was built for war and rescue alike. Its crew was ready to defend. The unknown ship came closer, its engines glowing red in the darkness. It fired the first shot, a powerful beam that slammed into the Resolute's shields. The human warship rocked but held steady. Jenna gave orders swiftly. "Return fire, target their engines." The battle began in earnest. Energy beams crossed space, lighting up the blackness. Explosions shook both ships. The Resolute fired with precision, trying to disable the enemy without destroying it. They wanted answers, not just victory. Kale watched from the Zyrith, amazed at the humans' skill and bravery. Despite the danger, they stayed calm and focused. They fought not for glory, but to protect those who could not fight. Inside the enemy ship, dark figures controlled the weapons. They were scavengers, ruthless and desperate. Their goal was to take what they could from both ships and leave nothing behind. The fight went on intense and fierce. The Resolute took damage, but its crew worked fast to repair systems during brief lulls. Finally, after what felt like hours, the enemy ship began to falter. A direct hit to its engines slowed it down. Jenna saw her chance. "Prepare to board," she ordered. "We will take control and stop them." The boarding team assembled quickly. Dressed in armored suits, they moved onto the enemy ship through a special docking tunnel. Inside, the darkness was thick and cold. The scavengers were caught off guard but fought fiercely. The humans moved with skill and teamwork. They secured the ship room by room, capturing the enemy crew. Kale and some of his strongest crew members watched the operation with respect. They realized humans did not just fight hard, they fought smart. When the enemy ship was fully controlled, Jenna contacted Kale. The threat is over. We have secured the scavengers. You are safe now. Kyle breathed deeply, relief washing over him. Thank you, Captain. You have saved us again. The prisoners were taken to the Resolute under strict guard. Medical teams tended to their wounds, but no mercy was given for their crimes. Jenna stood on the bridge looking out at the stars. Space is dangerous, Kale, but we will face it together. The alliance between humans and the alien crew grew stronger. They shared more than just repairs and food now. They shared trust and hope. Sarah, the human medic, talked with Lyra, the alien communications officer. We must be ready, Sarah said. There will be more threats. Lyra nodded. But together, we are stronger. Captain Marlowe planned their next steps carefully. The Xyrith was still not ready to make the long journey home, but with human protection, it could survive. She called her officers. We will stay close, patrol the area. No more surprises. The humans set up a defensive shield around both ships. The crew trained harder, ready for whatever came next. Kale stood beside Jenna one evening looking at the stars that stretched endlessly before them. We owe you more than we can say, Kale said softly. Jenna smiled. We owe each other. In space, no one survives alone. As the Resolute and Xyrith prepared for their slow journey home, they knew one truth. Human courage and unity made even the darkest space a place where hope could grow. The USS Resolute and the Xyrith moved slowly through the star-strewn void, their engines steady and strong. The repaired alien ship was no longer a drifting ghost but a vessel ready to sail home. Yet the danger that had hunted them was far from over. Captain Jenna Marlowe stood on the bridge of the Resolute, eyes sharp and mind alert. The peaceful moments between battles were rare and precious, but she knew this calm would not last. Captain, Lieutenant Harris reported, scanners show multiple unknown vessels approaching. They're armed and moving quickly. Looks like a coordinated attack. Jenna's face hardened. Battle stations protect the Xyrith and hold the line. We cannot lose them now. On the Xyrith, Kale and his crew prepared for war once more. They were still healing, still weak, but they would not run. The humans had shown them courage, and now it was their turn to stand together. The enemy fleet appeared on the horizon. Small, fast ships, armed with energy weapons and missiles. Their intent was clear. Destroy or capture anything in this part of space. The Resolute raised its shields, powerful waves of energy spreading like a protective bubble around both ships. The alien vessel, still fragile, relied on the human warship's defense. The battle began. Energy beams tore through space, lighting up the darkness with deadly color. Explosions shook the ships as missiles blasted the shields. The humans fought fiercely, their weapons precise and controlled. Kyle watched from the Xyrith, heart pounding. He could see the humans' bravery, how they fought not just for themselves but for others. It was a strength he had never seen before. Fire the defensive cannons, Kyle ordered his crew. Though their weapons were weaker, they fought alongside, the humans with determination. The enemy ships focused on the Resolute, but the Xyrith joined the battle, firing carefully to protect its saviors. Together, the two crews formed a united front. Inside the Resolute, Jenna led her crew with calm authority. Hold steady, focus on their engines, disable them, but do not destroy. Her orders were clear and practiced. The crew responded without hesitation, working as one. The enemy fleet was strong but disorganized. Their attacks were fierce but not coordinated. The humans and aliens used this to their advantage, picking off ships one by one. The battle raged for hours. Shields weakened, weapons overheated, and fatigue set in. But the Resolute and Xyrith did not falter. During a brief pause, Jenna contacted Kale. Your crew is brave. Together we are stronger than they expected. Kale nodded, though the connection was silent. He felt the weight of their survival, on his shoulders and those of the humans. Suddenly, the enemy launched a massive attack, a large missile heading straight for the Xyrath. Missile incoming. The warning system blared. Jenna made a quick decision. Divert all power to shields. Prepare to intercept. The Resolute fired its powerful energy cannons, hitting the missile and breaking it apart before it reached the Xyrath. The explosion lit up space, a bright burst that sent shockwaves through both ships. Good work, Jenna said quietly. We can't let up now. As the battle wore on, the enemy began to retreat. Their ships, damaged and outmatched, fled into the blackness. The Resolute and Xyrath were battered but victorious. The crews celebrated quietly. The aliens cheered for the humans, and the humans respected the aliens' courage. They had fought as one. Kyle approached Captain Marlowe. Without your help, we would be lost. You fight with honor. Jenna smiled. We fight for life, for all life. The alliance was more than a rescue now. It was a bond forged in fire and trust. The Xyrath's engines hummed steadily as the ship prepared to leave deep space behind. Jenna gave the order. Set course for the nearest human station. Let's bring everyone home. As the ships moved together, Kale looked out at the stars. The vast darkness was less frightening now. With humans by their side, hope was stronger than fear. The USS Resolute and the Xyrath sailed side by side through the quiet depths of space. The stars stretched endlessly around them, bright and cold, but inside both ships, hope warmed the hearts of their crews. The long journey back to the human station had begun. Captain Jenna Marlowe stood on the Resolute's bridge, her eyes fixed on the distant horizon of stars. Beside her, Kale watched silently. The alien captain's face was tired but calm. They had both survived the darkest moments in space, and together they had found new strength. It's hard to believe how far we have come, Jenna said softly. Kale nodded. We were lost and alone. But now, with your help, we will live. Phew. Xyrath's systems were still not perfect, but they held steady. Engineers worked tirelessly, fixing what they could while sharing their knowledge with the humans. Both crews learned from each other, building a bond stronger than language. On the human ship, Sarah, the young medic, walked through the corridors of the Xyrath, checking on the alien patients. She smiled warmly at those who had grown stronger, offering comfort and encouragement. One alien child reached out, holding her hand tightly. Sarah knelt down, her voice gentle. We will get you home soon. The child smiled back, eyes full of trust. Captain Marlowe called a meeting of both crews. In the large conference room aboard the Resolute, humans and aliens sat side by side. There was no tension, only respect and friendship. We faced danger together, Jenna said. And we won. But our work is not finished. The galaxy is full. Of unknown threats, we must stay united. Kyle spoke next, his voice steady. We owe our lives to humanity's courage. Our worlds are different, but now our paths are joined. The room filled with quiet agreement. What had started as a simple rescue was now a new beginning, a chance for cooperation and peace among species. As the ships traveled on, they received messages from human space. The news of the rescue had spread quickly. Many celebrated humanity's bravery and kindness. Others were curious and cautious, but all knew one thing. Humans answered when others would not. During a quiet moment, Jenna and Kale stood together on the Resolute's observation deck. The stars seemed closer here, as if watching their promise. We will be ready, Jenna said, for any challenge. Together. Kyle smiled. Together, we are strong. The journey home was long, but filled with hope. The humans and aliens shared meals, stories, and dreams. They built friendships that would last across galaxies. As they approached the human station, bright lights welcomed them like a safe harbor in the sea of stars. The crews prepared for arrival, knowing this was only the first step. Captain Marlowe looked back at the Xyrath, now shining with renewed life. This is not the end, she said. It is the start of something greater. Kyle nodded. A future where no one is abandoned. The Resolute and Xyrath entered the station's dock together, a symbol of unity and hope in a vast and often lonely universe. The story of their rescue would be told for years, a reminder that even in the darkest space, humanity's light shines brightest.